All right, we are live. Gail Alofsin and Bart Berkey. Bart is joining you. I am joining you. That sounds so silly. From Cancun. Greetings, everyone. Greetings to our followers and friends. I'm going to be speaking at a kindness conference later this week, actually later today and the rest of this week. But this is the first installment of something special. I reached out to four of my very good friends in the industry, and I asked them, would you be willing to have conversations once a week on different topics? And the topics are relating to this new term called humanality, making people feel cared for, valued, seen, and heard in a world that is highly transactional and wildly processed. And guess what? My friends said yes. Today is the inaugural episode, and we're calling this Most People Don't Serve Like This. It is hospitality with heart. It's conversations about humanality. Episode number 1 is I See You, why recognition is the first act of hospitality. And I am more than honored to have Gail Alofsin join. Gail is not only the founder of a company called Leadership at All Levels, she also happens to be an associate director with the University of Rhode Island. Very knowledgeable on hospitality, on caring and being kind to people. And so we're just thrilled, Gail, to join us on the first episode to talk about I See You. What does that mean to you, Gail?
Well,
I
wait,
see you.
before I answer that, I just have to, you gave me a promotion. I'm the Associate Director of Corporate Partnerships for the Office of Strategic Initiatives at the University of Rhode Island. If I'm the Associate Director of the whole thing, I need a bigger pay raise.
Yeah, well,
Of the whole
in my
university.
mind, you're the director of everything. So how's that? But
Oh,
yes.
and you know what? I would never need a pay raise. It would be my honor. I just don't think I have the core competencies for that.
Ah,
When it says, you and I have both been in hospitality for over 30 years. I started in the hotel business, cruise line business. You had your whole career, major part of your career in that. And I truly believe that exceptional customer service begins long before we say hello. You know this too. We're walking towards somewhere. Are we looking the other way? Do we look down? Do we acknowledge? It begins when you see that other human being and they know they're noticed. And you look at them and you smile and you say hello, and they may not say hello back. And that's okay. We don't know what they're carrying. But if we say, everyone we walk by, we notice and say good morning and smile. And some people
yeah.
may think you're a little weird, especially I do this 5:30 in the morning when I go to the gym. And it's like, good morning. No one wants to hear that. I'd say 90% don't want to hear that. Well, 80%. And we all want to feel noticed and feel that we matter.
Yeah.
That's not just strangers. It's our customers. It's our colleagues. It's someone we never met before.
Mhm.
It can change someone's day. And you and I both know it can just change someone's whole life.
That's it. So the element of just I see you. So this is pillar number 1. I see you. And how simple. And Gail, I share this story and I'll abbreviate it. I'm going to share it in a few moments whenever I get up on stage. But I share this story when I was in New York City. I saw a gentleman holding up a sign, and I get weepy every time I say it. Oh, he was holding up a sign and it said, I might as well be invisible. I might as well be invisible. And whenever I saw that, I was having a bad day. I was in my own mind. I was worried about stuff. But as soon as I saw that sign, I went up to the gentleman. I handed him a gratitude stone. And the only thing I told him was, I see you. Right, guy, right, took it, kissed it, held it to his heart. We had a lovely conversation. His name was Q. We talked. He wasn't drunk. He wasn't high on drugs. He just wanted to be seen. Like one of the most powerful moments that has ever happened to me. Just being able to see somebody. And we're using the story is that like everyone has the opportunity of being able to see others. Right? It could happen on a sidewalk. It doesn't need to be on stage. It doesn't need to be on a broadcast or a podcast, but just simply the element of seeing people. I just want to dive into that a little bit more, right? So seeing people is important, of course, in hospitality. What else does seeing mean to you, Gail? When do you feel seen? When do you feel
Well,
seen?
when people are, and we both teach this, and I've been teaching this as a communication adjunct professor since 1999, when we really listen to the response. I'm writing a new book, and I actually wrote a chapter on this, and I'm forgetting exactly what I titled it, but it's like, I titled it, Tell Me Again, I'm Listening Now. Because, how people, and they're not listening.
Yeah.
And when you practice this, there's two things I practice. The art of listening when I'm at an event. Now, my husband's going to say, try it at home. But the art of really listening to hear versus listening to speak, that's classic communication 101. But practicing it, right? And the other thing
and I want to make sure that we don't get too far ahead, Gail, because pillar number 2 in humanality is be where your feet are. So being present, but we're not going to talk about that. Pillar number 3 is just ask. Don't assume, tell me more. But I want to just back just to the simplistic area. I see you. How do you, Gail, feel seen? Give me an example of when you have felt seen by someone else. Gail Alofsin, tell me, when have you felt seen by someone, Gail? What am I doing intentionally?
Yes, I like that. I like that. When I play what I have coined the question game,
Okay.
and someone asks me a question back.
Wow. Isn't that
But
special?
I don't expect it, nor do I even desire it. Because good friends always do that. But if you're just meeting from someone for the first time and they spew, and I see this in all ages, you and I, we might be unique because in hospitality, I know my 30 years of Newport Restaurant Group, I learned through all the trainings we had and then the trainings I did, you don't act like that. You have to ask questions back. I have to be careful of not peppering people with too many questions because I really, really, and you too, you and I are both like this. You've tempered it. I haven't. I've got to be careful of that because that can almost be assaulting, like too much. So I want to listen back and have a nice exchange. But I call the question game, and someone failed it last Wednesday. I was with one of my girlfriends who works for a pharmaceutical, actually one of my clients who works for a pharmaceutical company. And I said, let's go over there and play the question game. And we asked this, we met this woman for the first time. And every time she just answered questions about herself. But when we had an opportunity, I did that too. She didn't say, tell me more. She just said, well, I also did this. And then we realized she needs this. She had recently retired, and I'm not saying everyone who retires feels this way, but I think talking to two people still working, she needed to justify what she had done. And you know what? It was fascinating. She had done everything. So I loved that. I just loved listening to her. But she failed the question game.
I want to talk a little bit about that because I do something similar. And because we are sharing this live to our YouTube channel, most people don't, but you do YouTube channel, LinkedIn, and Facebook. We will also figure out how to then be able to share the recordings with your audience. But we're getting comments already. Mohammed Sahim, thank you very much. Great presentation. And this is not a presentation, but thank you. It's conversation. And I think that is the most valuable thing that we can share. And when we started this just today, Gail, you and I have had lovely conversations. Doug Barman, SVP of Conference Direct, who he's part of this cohort. Kelly Bishop, I'm going to say creative director with Blood Centers of America and founder of Elevate Experiences. And then Meg Fazy. I don't know if you met Meg yet or not. She is a sponsorship guru with Phase Forward, Faze Forward is the name of her company. Great speaker, industry also person. So the element of just us having conversations, I think, is so critical because a lot of people don't have access to someone like you or the conversations that we're having. So this, I think, is brilliant. I want to get back to the question game just because we did this the other day. And I wrote a story for my newsletter, I think 2 weeks ago, and it was entitled Do Re Me, 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 Me. Meaning, do, re, mi, right? Fo, la, so, la, do, re, mi, me, 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 me. I am so special. I am so great. I got promoted. I am on this stage. I understand part of what we do, we have to self-promote. But we were in the pool the other day visiting with my son, having some really good conversations with some of the residents in the building. And I just noticed that the woman was all about me, 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 me. Do, re, me, me, me. And our code word now is do, re, mi. So we know when people are not asking questions back. And it's
I think,
interesting.
wait,
Go ahead.
change the code name if you're in front of the person to Do Re.
Oh, yeah, do, re. That's it, right? Do, re. You figure out the rest.
Yeah, because if
Okay.
you put the me in, they're going to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so that is about asking questions again, pillar number 3. But I see you. I think I see you, Gail, is yes, as you reference, it's eye contact. It is listening. It is paying attention, which are other components. It is perhaps even taking notes, right?
Oh,
Right.
wait, Bart, hang on.
Yeah.
This is this past month.
Taking notes.
No, this is June too of meeting people. And I've got the notebook that lives in the purse. Just
Yes.
I know that's unorganized, but then the notebook that lives in the and this is real Gail. I'm showing real Gail. I hope my boss doesn't watch. The notebook that I take with me everywhere. I'm just and then I ran out of space, so I started a new one. I take so many notes.
Yeah.
And
'Cause it's
am I the
important.
only one? It's such an 80s thing.
No, I don't think you are, and I think more people need to bring that back, because most people don't. Most people don't. Okay, but we're getting off a little topic here. Help me dig in because I don't know where this conversation is going to go. But just I see you. Okay, I'm going to ask you, Gail. When did you feel invisible to someone else?
I'm going to tell you a really personal story without saying the name of the company.
Okay.
This is back when I worked I wasn't here at I was here at URI as adjunct, but it didn't happen here. And I was sitting in a meeting that had the CEO, the sales director, like I think the VP of sales, and another person in the meeting. I forgot what their position was. They were pitching me. They wanted me to buy their product.
Okay.
In the middle of the meeting, the head guy, the CEO, he had asked me a question, and as I started answering, he opened his phone and started looking at it. And I'm like, this is the equivalent of back in the 80s when you'd be in someone's office and they'd answer the phone while you were with them.
Yeah.
Needless to say, I very politely did not buy the product. I loved the VP of sales, loved. But and I don't know that everyone in that room liked the CEO. Now, would I have been kind to say, hey, the reason I'm not buying this product is there's someone of equitable value, but they don't answer their phone or they don't look at their phone while I'm answering the question they just asked me.
Yeah.
So like, how am I, what are my needs? What else do I need this for? I thought that was really interesting. And I don't know why I just thought of that one.
Yeah. No. And Gail,
Who does that?
You don't think he was pulling up his phone to reference something? He didn't say, "Hey, look, if you don't mind, I'm going to pull up my phone because I want to check on something. I'm taking notes in my phone." Nothing along those lines.
No. And
Okay.
he was considerably different. That's all I'll say. He was different.
Okay.
Now,
No, fair enough. Fair enough. So how could you have flipped it? Is there anything
that
that
one, I
yeah.
could have because I was in the buying position, I could have done this, but I was so shocked and I was really psyched it happened because I've been able to tell the whole story really for a good 4 minutes when I speak, set up
Yeah.
the whole room, exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And I could have said, oh, when you're done with your message, I'll continue with what we need. I could have
Yeah.
said that, but I had
Yes.
already decided at that moment not to buy from them.
Yes.
Other
Yeah.
people had an equitable product.
Yeah, and I think, Gail, that's another good example of, oh goodness, people are just popping in with so many nice comments. So Brian Connors must be a friend. Love Gail, rock star. That's so fun. That's so fun. A couple of things, Gail. I think we always have an option of being kind over being right. You were kind. You chose kind. You didn't make them feel bad. I will stop. Let me continue as soon as you are done doing what you're doing. Or, I mean, I've found that I have done this in the past and I'm not proud of it, but I can be somewhat sarcastic. So if I'm asking tons of questions and I don't feel seen in response, I might say, well, let me tell you something about me, even though you didn't ask. Right. And that's me trying to be right. That's not very kind. So in order to be able to flip when we're not seen, we can ignore it. I'm learning. We could ignore it. We could pause and be very polite. It looks like you are distracted by something else. Let me wait for you. Um, are there any other suggestions, Gail, of when something like that happens, when we are not feeling seen? How can we let people know that we're not feeling seen? Imagine we're a customer and we're at a hotel. Imagine we're a customer and we're at a hotel. We're a meeting planner. We're ready to sign a contract and no one is available to help us. Or we're waiting in line and there's 18 people ahead of us waiting in line to check in and I feel invisible. What are some suggestions that we can give, that you can give to even like our hotel operators on how to flip a situation in which someone feels invisible? Does that make sense?
Yes, I love that. And I'm going to answer it, but I have to show you something. I just wrote down what you said
Yeah.
because I'm going to interview you at another time. Let me tell
Okay.
you something about me, even though you didn't ask. It's going to be the chapter right after the other one. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Fine.
I love
Fine.
it. I think that's the best thing ever. I might say that out loud. I'm going to. I'm going to say it, but I'm going to be with a good friend when I say it to practice
Yeah.
it. I'm going to use the doctor's office example. When you walk
Okay.
in to some different, I'm at the age that I go to doctor's appointments too much. So for little things, thank God, knock wood so far. But if the staff can just look up, and my dad was an orthodontist, so he trained us to do this, that we had to look up and say, welcome, we'll be with you shortly, because we don't know what they're doing when they're not looking down. You know, you walk in and people look up and there might not be a smile and you're like,
Agreed.
okay. So just look up wherever you are, whether it's a coffee shop.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah. Just look
Just
up.
look up. Yeah. Step that.
Welcome. I'll be with you shortly with enthusiasm, not I'll be with you shortly. Like, I'll
Yes.
be with you
Yes.
shortly.
Yeah, look up. Look up and acknowledge. Look up and acknowledge. And it is so easy to do. Um, when we're getting back to that invisible time. So you were in that example, you were in a meeting, someone's trying to pitch you something, and someone automatically picks this up, and you can tell that you feel invisible. I want to share just quickly and give me recommendations of what you would do. I was presenting, this was last year. And you know that we film everything. Terry and I film everything because we provide recap videos, and we want to help the organizations continue to learn. That's why we videotape and share. So I'm setting up a camera. I'm setting up the system, the audio system, the speakers, or the microphones rather, tripod, and I'm wearing all black. Okay, and I'm just about done. And there's a group of attendees nearby. And I try to insert myself into the conversation just to get to know them before I get up on stage. And I will never forget this. One person said, "Oh, he's just the AV guy. You don't need to talk to him." I'm just the AV guy. You don't need to talk to him. 5 minutes later, I'm on stage. Greetings. I'm your keynote speaker for the next 45 minutes in front of 1,000 people, whatever the case is. But that made me feel invisible and it made me feel bad. How could I have turned that around, Gail?
What time of day was it? Was it early morning?
It was like 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 10 a.m.
All right. What I might have done is I probably would have approached the group and said, hi, I'm Gail Alofsin. I'm your keynote speaker today. Or I'm your speaker today. But tell me why you didn't do that.
I think because I felt invisible when they said that. And I think I was hurt and I was shocked and I did not feel seen. I guess I didn't want to acknowledge that I heard them say that. So I didn't do anything.
What I might have done to be wise,
Yeah.
depending on who they were, because I had a similar experience that we won't go into, but I would have, but I've had time to think about it now while you were talking. I probably would have said, oh, hey, I'm Gail, and I'm not a just. I'll be teaching that later this morning about how you are not a just. Nobody's a just. I always tell my students, you're not just a student.
Yes, I'm not just a janitor.
You are not a just. Sorry, I just overtalked you.
No, love
There's
that.
no
Love that. You
justs.
were not just a just.
I would have
Love that.
shaken both hands and said, so nice to meet you. I'll be speaking. I wouldn't even say I was the keynote. I'd say I'd be speaking later today. And I'm not going to use this as an example. What do you do here?
Yeah. But any of those things would have been perfect. But
Probably
again,
would
I
have turned
did
into humor.
say it again.
I would have made it humorous, but who
Yeah.
knows? I could have been in a sensitive mood. You don't know. How late was your flight the night before when you got in? You're waking up. You want to make sure everything's perfect, and someone's calling you a just. And then the other thing, Bart, is why are they saying an AV person is a just?
Exactly. Exactly. Which brings me to another question, Gail. Think about our hotel friends that are listening now, and this was going to go out to 21,000 of my LinkedIn followers and 25,000 of your LinkedIn followers. They'll be able to access it and record it. Think about who is a person at a hotel in general, that might be invisible to most guests, to most meeting and event planners, to most even associates. Who do you think that might be? Who might be
Oh,
the most invisible? Tell me.
I'm going to say housekeeping.
Hmm. Okay.
I'm
And
going to
then
say
what,
housekeeping.
okay, Gail, and then what can we do to make sure humanality point number one, I see you. How can we as co-workers, how can we as event planners, how can we as salespeople, how can we as human beings make sure that we see the housekeeper? And I want your answer. I'm going to come right back and show you something, but tell us your answer. I'm
Okay, I'll
listening.
tell you. So there's
Yes.
a couple of ways. The first is stopping to acknowledge. Good morning. How are you? I'm Gail. I'm in room 502. How's your morning going? Second, oh my gosh, I checked into my room. It was beautiful. Thank you so much. Third, always tip the maid. Over tip the maid. Skip your
And I
Starbucks
don't think,
coffee in the morning.
yeah,
Tip
I
the
don't know.
maid.
I don't think we say maid anymore.
Oh, I know. We say housekeeper. I'm so sorry. That is so
Okay.
bad. That's so
Yeah.
pejorative. I just went pejorative. The reason
I
I'm
don't know what
saying
that
that
word is.
though
Yes.
is
Yes.
one of my students had said I was a maid this summer, and she told me how she was made to feel the whole time invisible, invisible. But it is housekeeping, so I apologize.
Yeah.
So say hello, say thank you for a great room. I leave notes with the tips. I actually write God bless you and your family on the note. I hope that's
Mm,
okay.
mm,
And then the most important thing is, and you know, with Marriott, if you, and I'm a big Marriott person, you're a big,
yeah.
you were Ritz Carlton. On the survey, I believe it's
Mm,
still the same way. Anything less
mm,
than an 8, you
mm.
fail. I try to do all 10s, but I get the name of the housekeeper and I write how beautiful my room was, how lovely she was when I saw her in the hallway. I'll
Wow.
write about all the different people that have affected my visit. What does that take? It takes me 4 minutes.
Yeah. And the impact is unbelievable. So we're staying at, thank you for sharing. We're staying in an all-inclusive, lovely hotel in Cancun. Last night we had dinner, and the gentleman, his name was Maurice, on top of everything. On top of everything, brought us extra this and extra that. And Terry wanted a sip of wine, and he gave her more than a sip, and insisted that we try the dessert, but just really, really good. And I did not have any cash with me then. And we got back to the room, and I wrote down his name, Maurice, at the restaurant. I can see it from here. I want to make sure I take care of Maurice. And tired, long day of traveling up since 3. Terry says, I have cash. Let me take it over to him now. So that's what she did. And the gentleman was blown away because a lot of people we know at all inclusive, you might indulge, you might eat too much, drink too much, do whatever too much, and not leave a tip because maybe you never Googled, should I leave a tip at an all inclusive in Cancun? Yes, you should because it's nice, it's helpful, it's not required, but it benefits every single person that is working here. Anyway, that's one story. Then the second story is this. Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would not know that my room is being serviced by Rosa M. I would not know that. Sometimes you might get little notes and you can't tell their signature. So I don't know if it's Mary or Mauricio or Marvin. It's hard to tell. But typed out, I know who this person is now. And thanks to this conversation on humanality, making people feel cared for, valued, seen, and heard, I am now going to, Gail, write Rosa a note. And you know what? If I have a couple of extra bucks or find some extra bucks, I think I'm not gonna wait until my departure day. Why wouldn't I hook up Rosa just by saying the room is beautiful? Sorry for the sand. You're doing a great job and thank you. Why wouldn't I do that to make Rosa feel seen? Why wait?
Well, another thing back to tipping housekeeping is, and my first boss of my whole life when I was in the cruise line industry, told me, make sure you tip every single day because it can be a different housekeeper. Because I used to tip at the end. And again,
Yes.
I love to tip a lot because I'm not cleaning that room or lifting up a
Mhm.
bed that I probably couldn't lift. And think
Mhm.
about I always was taught by Sister T, my 8th grade teacher, you always give from your excess, not from your need. And then what
Uh,
happens? It comes back threefold. It just does. So I'm not saying, oh, Gail's so great because she tips housekeeping, but
no.
I do think that we should tip every single day. And I also try to leave little presents.
Like what?
So like kind bars, like little, if I have little trade show toys from
Yeah.
and at one point, Southwest was my client, Southwest Airlines for 15 years, loved them. And they'd give me balloon hats and like you blew up and they were like a plane. So I'd leave silly things like that. And I'd say, these are for your children. If you don't have children, give them to your nieces, nephews. I always would write little notes. I love doing that.
Yeah. Well, and it makes that solidifies this conversation today, Gail, right? I see you. All of the things, acknowledge, looking people in the eye, taking notes, repeating back what you heard, asking questions, tell me more, leaving handwritten notes, tipping, saying hello, all of these things, it's all about I see you. So you just gave some great examples of what we can do as guests when we're traveling for housekeepers, but then also, the teams, the leaders. Make sure you appreciate your housekeeping team as an example. I'll never forget we had a sports team. They were high school swim team, and high school swimmers sometimes will choose to shave their body in order to go quicker through the water, and we're almost done. And they're not necessarily very kind as to how they are shaving and where they're shaving. So we knew this in advance. So we went and spent time as the sales team spent time with the housekeepers before this group arrived to tell them what to expect, that these are swimmers and set. Sometimes they're going to shave and they might not just be shaving in the tub. Sounds horrible, but thank you in advance for this. And then after the fact, it was another, thank you for taking good care of this group. We know they were messy. We know they used a lot of towels, but those are the little things that most people don't do. We can do that as hospitality leaders. That's one thing. We can do it as guests. That's another thing. And then even as event planners, and this is a shout out to Kelly Bishop, who is enjoying some family time, I think at a lacrosse tournament. Shout out Kelly. But she was telling me, so I was a speaker at one of her events recently. Dear friends, of course, we all are. And she was sending handwritten notes to all of the speakers, to all of the meetings and event individuals, to everyone that, the front desk man, handwritten notes to everybody to say thank you. I'm like, wait a second, Kelly, you were the clients. They were the provider. Yes, I know, but I wanted to show them appreciation. That is another form of I see you. Handwritten notes saying thank you, gratitude, which then will extend for additional conversations with regard to humanality. Amazing, Gail. Last word to you. I know we're a couple minutes over. Last word to you on
No,
ICU. Anything else for our listeners to remember?
I would say practice ICU touch points all day long. They're micro moments of happiness for you and the other person. And if you do that every single day, all day, it becomes habitual. It makes your heart lift, but you do it either organically or don't do it at all. It might start stilted a little bit and not seem right, but if after you do this for a while and you just feel inauthentic, don't do it anymore. Unauthentic, don't do it anymore. Just do little micro moments of happiness for yourself and other people, and you're going to live a better life and a happier life.
Yeah.
I think of it, part of our purpose is to
Mm.
spread joy to other people. I live that. You do too. I really mean it. So
Yeah. Micro moments.
little micro
Today,
moments.
right?
All
Micro
day.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I
Today.
add one that happened? Can I add one
Yeah,
that
yeah, but
made
I
my
want to
whole
make
day?
sure. So takeaways, micro
Oh,
moments today. These
all day.
listeners, you're listening all day. Micro moments of seeing people, of seeing others, looking, saying hello, just seeing them, right? Acknowledging others, opening up the door for people, holding the elevator button, right? Just all of these things. Yeah. Last story. Sorry,
This is
Gail.
what happened. I'm
Yeah.
walking out of the Marriott today, out of the front doors.
Yeah.
That's where my gym is. I'm walking out the front doors, and there is a man walking in, and he's already in the vestibule. He physically walks out of the vestibule, opens the door for me. I wasn't carrying anything.
Mm.
Opens the door for me, and I walked through and I said, "Well, thank you." And he said something to me, and I'll have to remember the words for the next session. Oh, this is what I love, how I love to start my day, with like intentionality or something like that. And I looked at him and I wanted to say, "Who are you? Can we go have a coffee? We have to sit down," but I needed to get into work. And I wanted to be his friend. I'm like, "Thank you so much." I mean, who backs out?
Mm.
I'm going to do this from now on, especially when people are carrying something. But he backed out of the door. He held it open.
Mm.
You could tell he felt great about it, and walked back in. And he was holding a coffee.
Amazing.
I mean, maybe it's not that big a deal, but I came home and I'm like, this.
And Gail, how did that make you feel?
I felt like I was a movie star, and he was opening the door, Excuse
Wow.
me, he's opening the door for the red carpet. I felt
Yes.
like I'm going to have a red carpet day because of him.
Amazing. Amazing. Micro moment. That was that gentleman's micro moment of kindness, of I see you. Let me hold open the door extravagantly, flamboyantly, aggressively, intentionally to be able to affect someone's day. Not that hard, but look how happy that made me hearing that story. How happy it made you sharing that story, and the gratitude that it gave that gentleman that did that every single day. He's doing those micro moments. Absolutely brilliant. So many great lessons, Gail. We could talk for
Thank you
days, which
so
we
much.
which we will. Next week we're going to be talking about pillar number 2, be where your feet are, which is referencing. We kind of touched upon it. Full presence. You are the most important thing to me right now, and I want to make sure that you feel that way. That is be where your feet are. So can't wait for additional conversations. Gail, thank you for kicking this off. Humanality. This was hospitality with heart. Most people don't do these types of things. When you enact and enliven humanality, it's making a difference. So Gail, thank you. Humanality, I see you. And remind our listeners, please, how they can connect with you and where they could find your awesome book.
Oh, just reach out to me at gailspeaks.com. It's GAIL, or gailspeaks.com is my website.
Yep. All right. Fantastic. We will continue the conversation, but you gave me so much good energy this morning, Gail.
Same.
Thank you.
In our
It's a great
audience
way
as
to
well.
start.
Thank you to them.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
Brad.
Thank you, Gail. Okay. Bye.